I used to believe that love, real love, was unshakable. That after years together, two people became one entity moving in unison, sharing everything. Dreams, desires, fears, even the unspoken understanding of growing old together. I was a fool. My name is Adam, and I am 36 years old. For 11 years, I built my life around my wife, Olivia. We had been married for 9, and while we never had kids, our 2 golden retrievers, Max and Luna, were our children in every way that mattered. Our house in the suburbs was the envy of our friends, modern yet cozy, filled with carefully chosen decor that Olivia had an eye for. We both had good jobs, enough to afford a comfortable life, spontaneous vacations, and the occasional expensive splurge. From the outside, we were perfect. Inside, I was living with a stranger. The change was subtle at first. Olivia started taking longer to get ready before leaving the house, even when it was just a run to the store. She became restless, distracted, constantly glued to her phone. If I asked about it, she would brush it off with a smile, saying, "Just work stuff." I trusted her until I had no reason to. It was a Friday night when I first sensed something was off. We had a tradition, movie nights. Just the 2 of us, curled up on the couch with a bottle of wine. That night, Olivia was different. She was distant, checking her phone every few minutes, smiling at whatever was on the screen. "Something interesting?" I asked, keeping my tone light. She barely looked up. "Just a group chat. The girls are planning a weekend trip." I let it go, but that night, lying in bed, I heard the soft tap-tap of her fingers against the phone screen long after she thought I was asleep. It was a week later when she finally said it. We were sitting in the living room, a random reality show playing in the background, neither of us paying attention. Olivia turned to me, her expression carefully neutral, as if rehearsed. "I've been thinking," she started, twirling a strand of hair around her finger, something she only did when she was nervous. I looked at her, waiting. "Maybe we should try an open marriage." I blinked. The words didn't register at first. "What?" She sighed, as if she had expected this reaction. "I just feel like we've settled. I love you, Adam, I do, but I feel like something's missing. I think if we explore it, outside of this, it might actually bring us closer." I stared at her, my heartbeat loud in my ears. "You mean sleeping with other people?" She flinched, but nodded. "Not like that. It wouldn't be meaningless. It would be about growth, expanding our experiences, and it would be honest. No lies. Honest." The irony burned. I didn't answer right away. Instead, I studied her, the slight tension in her shoulders, the way she wouldn't quite meet my gaze. She wasn't asking for permission. She was preparing me for something that was already happening, and that's when it hit me. She had already started. She just wanted me to approve it retroactively. I could have screamed, accused, begged her to reconsider. Instead, I did the one thing she never expected. I smiled. "I'll think about it," I said, because that was the moment my revenge truly began. Olivia assumed I was in denial. She thought I was too weak to see the truth. But what she didn't know was that I was watching. I became hyper-aware of every change. She started going to the gym more, dressing in skin-tight leggings and sports bras that left little to the imagination. Her phone was always in her hand, and she'd step outside to take calls, laughing softly at whoever was on the other end. And then there were the nights she came home late, smelling different. Not a perfume, but something off. A scent I couldn't quite place, but one that sent a deep instinctual warning through my body. I needed proof, so I waited. And when she fell asleep one night, I reached for her phone. The passcode hadn't changed. Big mistake. There were no obvious messages, no glaring evidence. But then I checked her WhatsApp. One name stood out, Ryan, a trainer at her gym. A man she had mentioned in passing with just enough casual indifference to make me suspicious. Their conversation was vague, but full of meaning beneath the surface. "You looked amazing today. Friday night was incredible. Can't wait for the next session. Thinking about you." My hands tightened around the phone. She wasn't just testing the waters, she was already swimming in them. I could have confronted her then, but I didn't. Because if she wanted an open marriage, she was going to get one, just not the way she expected. For the next few weeks, I became a ghost in my own marriage. I played my role, pretending to be the trusting husband while secretly tracking every move she made. I knew the time she left the house, who she texted, the way she dressed, the little white lies that dripped from her lips like poison honey. She thought she was clever. She thought she was in control, but she had underestimated me. I started following her. She said she was going to the gym, but I saw her car parked outside a bar instead. I sat across the street, engine running, watching as she met him, Ryan, the man she was so desperate to keep a secret. They laughed, drank, leaned too close. I gritted my teeth, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. I could have stormed in, confronted them, made a scene. But I was patient. I was calculating. And that night, as Olivia came home and kissed me goodnight, whispering about how tired she was from her workout, I finally decided how this was going to end. She was going to regret this. But not today. Not yet. First, I needed to set the stage. And when the moment came, I would burn her world to the ground. I had always been a patient man. That was the difference between Olivia and me. She acted on impulse, believing that secrets stayed buried if she hid them behind enough pretty words. She thought I wouldn't notice, that I wouldn't dare do anything about it. She thought wrong. I spent the next week watching, learning. Her schedule became a predictable script. Work, gym, home, except on Fridays. On Fridays, she was different. On those nights, she took extra time doing her makeup, styled her hair with meticulous care, and left the house in tight outfits that hugged her body in a way she hadn't bothered with before. She told me she was staying late at the gym, but I knew better. That Friday, I followed her again. She didn't go to the gym, she went straight to him. Ryan was waiting outside a high-end rooftop bar downtown, leaning casually against his car as she approached. They kissed, not a brief peck, a kiss that shattered any lingering hope that this was just an experiment. I watched them disappear inside together, every muscle in my body coiled tight. I sat there in my car, gripping the steering wheel, my mind warring between rage and strategy. I could storm in there, drag her out by the wrist, expose her for what she was, but that would be too easy. No, I needed her to feel this, to crumble under the weight of her own choices. I wasn't just going to catch her, I was going to destroy her. I had seen enough. Now was time for my own game to begin. If Olivia wanted an open marriage, she was going to get one, just not in the way she expected. It started with a dating app. Unlike Olivia, I wasn't looking for some emotional connection. I wasn't searching for love. I was looking for willing participants in my revenge. Enter Lillian. She was 28, dangerously intelligent, and utterly ruthless. Then there was Sophia, a woman who understood exactly what I was doing the moment I told her my situation. "I don't want to be a home wrecker," she had said, a smirk playing on her lips. "Oh, don't worry," I had replied, swirling my whiskey. "The home's already been burnt. I'm just making sure she watches it burn." She laughed. "Now that I can get behind." And so the stage was set. Olivia had no idea what was coming. That Friday, Olivia left the house again in her gym leggings, hair done perfectly, lying right to my face. I barely waited for the door to close before sending the text, "Me, come over, bring wine." 30 minutes later, Lillian and Sophia were in my living room, laughing, drinking, their presence intoxicating. For the first time in months, I wasn't the one sitting at home waiting. I was taking control. And when Olivia walked through the door at midnight, expecting to find her ever-loyal husband waiting in bed for her, she instead found me on the couch, arms draped around two stunning women. Her entire world tilted. Her smile vanished, the color drained from her face. She blinked once, twice, as if her mind refused to process what she was seeing. "Adam?" she breathed, her voice cracking. I turned my head lazily, taking a sip of my drink. "Oh, hey babe, didn't expect you back so soon." Lillian smirked. Sophia just raised an eyebrow, amused. Olivia looked like she had been slapped. I could feel her pulse racing from across the room. Her own game had just been turned against her, and she wasn't ready for it. She stormed forward, her face twisted in disbelief. "What the hell is this?" she demanded, her voice shrill, desperate. I set my drink down and stretched, making a show of how unbothered I was. "This?" I gestured lazily between Lillian and Sophia. "This is an open marriage, Olivia. You know, the thing you wanted." She gaped at me. For the first time in months, she was speechless. But, she stammered. "This isn't, you don't actually—" I leaned forward, voice dropping. "You don't like how this feels, do you?" Her lips parted, but no words came. I stood up, stepping closer, watching her crumble. "You thought you were in control," I said, my voice calm, measured. "You thought you could have your fun and come home to me, your safe, loyal husband. You thought you could have it all." Her hands trembled. "You lied to me, Olivia," I continued. "You snuck around behind my back, And I let you, because I wanted to see just how deep you'd dig your own grave. Her breathing was shallow, panic setting in. How long have you known? She whispered. Long enough. Then I pulled out my phone and played the recording. Ryan's voice filled the room. Damn, Olivia, you taste even better after the gym. God, I love how filthy you get for me. Adam has no idea, does he? Poor bastard. The sound of her own moans followed. Olivia physically stumbled backward. Her breath hitched. Her face drained of all color. Then a sob, a broken, shattered sound that tore through her as she covered her mouth with trembling hands. I watched her shatter. You, she choked. You recorded me? I shrugged. You recorded your own mistakes, Olivia. I just saved them. Her legs wobbled. Adam, please. Please what? I tilted my head. Please forgive you? Please erase this? Please pretend like you didn't betray me? Tears streamed down her face now. She reached for me, desperation in her touch. I didn't mean... I stepped back. You meant every second of it, I said coldly. And now, so do I. I placed the divorce papers on the coffee table. Her eyes widened in pure terror. This is what you wanted, right? I said, my voice icily calm. Freedom. And then the final blow. I picked up my phone, dialed Ryan's number, and put it on speaker. He answered after one ring. Hey, babe, miss me already? Silence. Then, Ryan, I said smoothly, Olivia is right here. She has something to tell you. Her face crumpled, and for the first time, Olivia understood she had lost everything. Olivia stood frozen, her skin pale, her lips parted as Ryan's voice filled the room. Hey, babe, miss me already? I watched the realization dawn in her eyes, the slow, agonizing understanding that her world had just collapsed in front of her. She opened her mouth, but no words came. She was cornered. Go on, I said, my tone smooth as glass. Tell him. Her lips trembled. She clutched her hands together as if they could somehow hold her together. Adam, please, she whispered, voice cracking. But I didn't blink. I didn't flinch. She wasn't escaping this. Tell him, Olivia, I said, taking a slow step forward. Tell him how you played me for a fool. Tell him how you asked for an open marriage while you were already in bed with him. Ryan's confusion crackled over the speaker. Wait, what's going on? I smiled. She's been caught, I said simply. Silence. Then Ryan laughed. It wasn't nervous laughter. It was pure amusement. Wow, he chuckled. She actually told you about us? Damn, I thought she'd keep playing dumb. I felt the air shift. Olivia swayed slightly as if the floor beneath her had disappeared. Her own lover was laughing at her. Ryan, stop, she begged, her voice breaking. But he didn't. Oh, come on, Liv, he said casually. You knew this was going to happen eventually. I mean, I like you and all, but I'm not exactly the forever type. And you... He let out a low whistle. You were a great distraction, but now, damn, you look desperate. I watched as Olivia collapsed into herself. This was worse than anything I could have done to her. Ryan wasn't choosing her. She had burned her marriage for him, and he was throwing her aside like garbage. Ryan sighed. Listen, this was fun, but I think we're done here. And then, without another word, he hung up. The line went dead, and so did the last shred of Olivia's dignity. She didn't move for a long moment. Her breathing was shallow, her hands still shaking. Then with a soft, broken sob, she turned to me, eyes filled with devastation. Adam, she whimpered, stepping closer. I held up a hand. Don't! She stopped mid-step, her entire body trembling. Please, she whispered. I made a mistake. I was stupid. I didn't think... I let out a slow, humorless chuckle. You didn't think? I repeated, stepping closer. Olivia, you made 100 choices before tonight. 100 times you could have stopped. You didn't. She shook her head frantically, tears streaking down her face. I thought maybe this would fix us. I thought I wanted more, but I was wrong. I tilted my head. Wrong? She collapsed to her knees in front of me. I'll do anything, she sobbed. Just don't leave me. I stared down at her, feeling nothing. No anger, no satisfaction, just emptiness. You already left me, Olivia, I said quietly. And then I stepped past her, leaving her kneeling on the floor, drowning in the wreckage of her own choices. For the next week, Olivia existed in a state of panic. She tried everything. One night, she cooked my favorite meal and sat at the dinner table, forcing a smile as if we could pretend everything was fine. I didn't sit with her. Another night, she came into the bedroom wearing nothing but lingerie, her eyes desperate, her hands reaching for me. I stepped around her without a word. She sobbed into the sheets. Every time she tried to touch me, talk to me, fix what she had broken, I ignored her, because she had made her choice, and now she had to live with it. The moment I handed her the divorce papers, she shattered all over again. She stared at the papers, her breath hitching. You're serious? Has a heart attack, I said flatly. She clutched the documents like they might burn her fingers. Adam, she whispered, voice trembling. No more excuses. No more lies, I cut her off, voice cold. Tears streamed down her face. Please, we can fix this. We can go to therapy. We can nothing, I interrupted. She gasped softly, her body crumbling. I leaned down, eyes locked onto hers. You threw us away. Now I'm just making it official. Her hands trembled as she slowly sank into the chair, silent sobs racking her body. But I didn't feel bad. I only felt free. The silence in the house was deafening. For years, this place had been filled with laughter, late-night conversations, and the warmth of a shared life. Now it was just a hollow, empty space, a reflection of what Olivia had reduced our marriage to. She had signed the divorce papers 3 days ago. She hadn't fought back. She hadn't argued. She had just collapsed into herself, realizing that her carefully constructed fantasy had fallen apart. And now, she was gone. I stood in the middle of the living room, staring at the photos still hanging on the walls, remnants of a love that had long since turned to dust. One by one, I took them down. Every wedding picture, every vacation photo, every reminder of the lie she had sold me. I threw them into a cardboard box and shoved it into the storage closet, because Olivia, she no longer existed in my world. That night, I slept better than I had in years. I hadn't spoken to Olivia since she moved out, but I heard things. It started with whispers from mutual friends. She looks terrible. She's not doing well. Ryan dumped her. That last one made me laugh. She had burned down our marriage for a man who never planned to stay, a man who had used her just like she had used me. I didn't feel sorry for her. I didn't feel anything at all. But Olivia, she was falling apart. She had tried dating again, but word had spread. Men didn't see her as a long-term partner anymore. She was just another woman with baggage, a woman who had cheated on her husband and lost everything. And slowly, piece by piece, her world continued to crumble. 2 months after the divorce, Olivia sent me a text. Olivia, can we talk? I stared at the message, feeling nothing. She had been silent since signing the papers. I had assumed she had moved on, licking her wounds somewhere far away, but clearly she hadn't. I didn't reply immediately. Instead, I let her wait. After hours of silence, she sent another text. Olivia, please, Adam, I need to see you. I debated ignoring her entirely, but then curiosity won, so I sent a single word. Me. Fine. I chose the location, a quiet coffee shop far from where we used to live. She arrived 5 minutes late, looking like a shadow of the woman I had once known. Her hair was unkempt, her face thinner, her once polished appearance now dull and tired. She sat down across from me, her fingers twisting together. I sipped my coffee, waiting. She exhaled shakily. I just wanted to see you. I didn't respond. She swallowed. Adam, I made a mistake. A bitter smile tugged at my lips. You don't say. She flinched. I was selfish. I thought I needed more, but all I did was destroy the one thing that actually mattered. I tilted my head. And now that Ryan is gone, you suddenly remember what mattered? Her eyes filled with tears. No, Adam, it's not about him. It was never about him. It was me. I was the problem. I ruined us. I set my coffee down. Yes, you did. She choked on a sob. Please, she whispered, her hands trembling. I miss you. I miss us. I don't expect things to go back to how they were, but can't we at least try? I leaned forward slightly, my voice quiet. Olivia, I said slowly, tell me something. Her red-rimmed eyes met mine. When you were sneaking around behind my back, I murmured. When you were in his bed, did you ever think of me? A sob tore from her throat. I leaned back. That's what I thought. She followed me to my car after the meeting. Adam, please, she begged. Just think about it. We don't have to rush, but don't shut me out completely. I turned to face her. I shut you out the moment you chose him over me. She broke completely. I love you, she sobbed. I never stopped loving you. I chuckled coldly. No, Olivia, you love the security I gave you, the comfort, the fact that no matter what, I was always there. Her lip trembled. But I'm not there anymore, I said, voice firm. And I never will be again. I got in my car. She stood on the sidewalk, shaking, crying, falling apart. And as I drove away, I didn't look back. Life without Olivia was nothing like I expected. It was better. I traveled. I worked out. I focused on myself in ways I hadn't in years. And the best part? No more lies. No more wondering who she was texting. No more second-guessing whether my marriage was real. I had closed that chapter, and I had no intention of reopening it. 3 months after our last conversation, Olivia tried one last time. She showed up at my new apartment, eyes red, lips trembling. I just wanted to see you, she whispered. I leaned against the doorframe, completely unaffected. She wasn't beautiful to me anymore. She was just a mistake I had learned from. You look good, she said softly. I'm good, I replied. Her breath hitched. Do you ever think about me? She asked hesitantly. I met her gaze. Not anymore. Her lips parted, another sob threatening to escape. I waited. Then, slowly, she nodded. Goodbye, Adam. I nodded back. Goodbye, Olivia. And then I closed the door, and this time I never opened it again.